Hello there and welcome to our fresh start January from M's Kitchen. Kitchen is about home cooked comfort food, home cooked and home baked comfort food that is inspired from our heritage in Southern Africa. But that doesn't mean that we don't also need to look after our bodies and eat healthy food when we can. So tonight what we're doing is we're going to be doing what I call a liver loving salad. Now because it's winter in the UK and it's managed to get up to 3 degrees outside today, it is rather cold, so we want to make sure that you can eat something which is good for you but warm. You can make this in any which way that you can. You can adapt the ingredients to suit what your availability is like. So this is a liver loving salad using a combination of beetroot, mozzarella, carrots, linseed, kale and freshly washed spinach. Okay, and then I'm going to make a dressing for the salad as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm firstly going to make the dressing. So the dressing is really simple, and if you've given up, if you're having a dry January, this is a great way to use your cocktail shaker because it works really well for making salad dressing. So first things first, you're supposed to be eating an average of 4 garlic cloves a day. Apparently that's the aim we should all be going for. Now 4 garlic cloves is quite a lot. But obviously I'm not eating this all by myself, so fortunately it's fairly easy for me to do. So I'm literally just mincing this garlic. If you haven't got a garlic mincer, just use a knife, cut it into pieces. But you do need to kind of get the flavor out, so you do need to kind of grate it or mince it or something like that. So I'm just literally putting this straight into this container. It does sometimes when you use this kind of garlic press, it does take the skin off and then it, sort of sticks to the side. It doesn't really matter. It's not obviously fresh garlic is the best thing to use for anything like this. If you're going to be going to the trouble of making any kind of dish like this, try and use fresh ingredients always. It's always better to use fresh because it's got all its nutrients. It's got all the good stuff still in it. Hasn't been removed through oxidization or through travel or anything else. So I've got 4 garlic cloves, just to give you an idea how much that is, about a tablespoonful in this container. So now to talk through fats really quickly. Lots of people would tell you cut out fats. Okay, cutting out fats is not necessarily good for you. We do need fat in our diet. It's really important for metabolism. And so I am not going to make my kale in oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the oil and I'm going to put some, this is rapeseed oil. Now rapeseed oil is really good for you. They have good fats and bad fats, and fats like avocado oil, omega-3 oils, those kind of oils are good fats. And so I'm not using a lot. This is just literally a little bit, maybe about 2-3 tablespoons. And then I'm going to be using an acidic thing. So what you can do is apple cider vinegar. This is a good way for you to use apple cider vinegar if you can't stand the taste of it. Put it in your salad dressing. It's really good in that way. Or you can use something like a fresh lime or anything like that. And I am going to use a fresh lime for this recipe. And the reason I use lime is because I like the taste of it. It's also really good. But use apple cider vinegar by all means. Don't worry about use normal vinegar if you haven't got apple cider vinegar. But because I love the smell of limes, it gives me that really sort of fresh feeling. The combination of apple cider vinegar and lime actually is a really good combination. It gives you that kind of fresh taste in your mouth. So that just goes in here. So I've literally just squeezed this. This one hasn't actually got any pips, which is amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a lime without pips. And then this is also a good thing for you to get just a little bit of sweetness. Now, ideally, you kind of need something like a sort of raw honey, or or something like that, or a manuka type honey, which is really, really good for you, full of antibacterial properties. So just 1 teaspoon goes in there. So those are the only, literally the only things going in there. And because I love honey, I'm going to taste it. It's not as good as manuka, but it'll do. So, lid on. And if you missed your cocktails from the last couple of weeks, and it's as simple as that. You don't need a cocktail mixer. You really, really don't. But because I also know how to make cocktails, I'll pretend, and let's go. And, you know, and doesn't that look beautiful? What I've got is I've got 4 beetroot that I've just warmed through in this pot. Fresh beetroot is better than cooked beetroot, of course, but this time of the year, depending where you shop, you can't always get fresh beetroot. So do your best and alternate with something else. So while I'm heating that up, the reason I'm talking about things like beetroot and carrots and stuff, these are superfoods for your body. Not only do they contain antioxidants, they contain all the things that kickstarts your metabolism and stops it from being sluggish. So if you've been overdoing it on the wine or on the food, on the processed stuff, this is a really good way for you to just say, liver, I still love you, and please take the toxins out of my body. Okay, and the best thing about this kind of thing is it doesn't make you feel as though you're on a diet. Okay, because for me, there is nothing more depressing than having to be on a diet and feeling like it's cold and miserable outside and I'm not getting food that's making me feel good about myself. So, you know, I was watching this program last night about all the different diets that people go on, and they were saying about, so this is a spiral in case you're wondering what I'm doing. So I have to be a little bit careful. I'm actually going to just replace it for a fork because I don't want to spiral my fingers. You don't need a spiraler, okay? You really, really don't. I'm just using a spiral because I happen to have one and I don't use it very often. You can just use a peeler. You can just use a knife. But this just makes it look a bit pretty as well. And trust me, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's nice if it looks good as well. So be careful, you know, this is the kind of stuff that can grate your fingers just like it can grate these lovely carrots into spirals. So just take your time, be mindful, concentrate on what you're doing. And I just remember why I don't use it very often for exactly this reason. Okay, so just remember this is a warm salad. So what we're doing is we're cheating a little bit. And we are going to use a ceramic pan. And the reason I'm using a ceramic pan is because a ceramic pan doesn't need fat. You don't need fat to cook it. So now I've got a whole bag full of kale. Now, can I just tell you, kale is not anything you want to eat raw, really. Of course, it's best for you if it's raw. But trust me, I've had a few of these. And there is no way I'm going to eat this raw just like this. It's not happening. So what you can do is just to cheat your mind into thinking, I'm eating something warm and I'm eating something really, really healthy. Put it in a ceramic pan. If you haven't got a ceramic pan, invest in one of these. Not necessarily that brand, but invest in something like a 1 cal spray. And the reason you're using a 1 cal spray is because it contains 1 calorie. So there's no point in telling myself, oh, I'm cutting out all of this sort of stuff, and you're putting it right back in the cooking process. This is really quick. This doesn't take long at all. And you can see the color changes from this sort of dark green to this absolutely vibrant green. And that's what you want. You kind of just want to change the texture just ever so slightly. Okay, we're not going for kind of real stir fry here, although of course you can. But remember, the longer you cook it, the more of the vitamins you remove. So, now number 2. So I've got some spinach here. Again, the whole thing of spinach. I'm not going to cook the spinach. I'm just going to wilt the spinach. Because I want the salad to be warm. So I've turned the heat right off. And I'm just adding the spinach. And you think, oh my heaven, I feel like a rabbit. Trust me, by the time this is wilted, you're not going to feel like a rabbit at all. The combination of carrots and beetroot are the 2 best friends your liver can have, because they both help the liver to detox itself. Okay, and by that it means that obviously your liver, just to explain, is probably the most important organ other than your heart in your body. What it does is it passes all the foods and all the toxins you consume in your diet and the environment, and it removes it. And then what it does is it regulates your blood sugar. And what we don't want, and why people fail on most diets for the most part, is because they're not regulating their blood sugar. So you have that, I'm feeling so tired, I'm feeling so hungry, and it's because your blood sugar regulation isn't happening. So that's a very simplistic way to explain a very complicated process. And obviously the sort of food scientists are much better at that sort of thing than I am. But it's a fact. And so if you can say to your liver, liver, I still love you, please look after my body, this is a good way for you to do that. And this is a really simple way, not if you use the spiralizer perhaps, but anyway. So I'm going to stop that now because it's annoying me, quite frankly. So I'm not going to carry on with that. So what I'm going to do is also remember always that you eat with your eyes. Okay, so when you're doing food, the first thing that you see, or the first thing you experience, is smell. When somebody brings food, you can smell from a mile away whether you want to eat it. Okay, so that's the first thing. So just look at that. So this is full of nutrition. And also again, that you eat with your eyes. Use things that make you happy, that make you feel happy and good about yourself. I'm just simply transferring this onto this plate. And so I haven't added anything to this whatsoever. I've added no water, I've added no salt, I've added no spices whatsoever. All that I've done is I've literally just taken and washed it, because you do have to wash this kind of thing. Washed it because it's not pre-washed, these vegetables. And there's no fat whatsoever in this. So that's superfood number 1. And you imagine that you want to eat 5 a day sort of thing, okay? Eating 5 a day stuff, if you're busy and you're running around and you're back at work and you're stressed about being stressed, is not that easy. But so I'm going to just use my hands a second, because all that I want to do is I just want to balance this a little bit. I don't want all the spinach on one side. And because my hands are clean, because I've just washed them again, I can use my hands. But always please wash your hands beforehand. So warm salad, remember. And a warm salad, I'm just going to move this for a second. It's a really nice winter type dish. And I'm actually just going to put this on a plate because, of course, beetroot stains incredibly much. Now the nice thing about this beetroot is it's warm, so all that I'm doing is I'm cutting it in half and cutting that in half, and then I'm just placing the beetroot onto this, because I don't want fussy pieces. You can cut it finer if you really want to. You don't need to. Maybe I should just with some of these. Well, so quarters, quarters and quarters, so eighths. So cut it into eighths. I tend to just do them into quarters because I like that sort of chunky look for the salad. But remember, you might not just have a couple of people, you might have a few people to feed. So, you know, so maybe cut it into eighths, at least then there's more to go around. So if you kind of think about kind of 1 beetroot per person, that's, you know, that would be cool. And if you are in a sunnier climate and you want to have something warmer, I mean cool, then by all means just get beetroot and use it fresh. As I've explained, obviously fresh is better because it's got all the nutrients that you need to detox your liver. Beetroot is really, really good for regulating blood sugar, just as a matter of interest. If you have a sweet craving, then beetroot is a really good way for you to deal with that. Preferably raw, because it actually regulates your blood sugar for longer. But if you don't like raw beetroot, which like a lot of people don't, cooked beetroot is fine. Just remember, it's not as effective then. But it is really, really good in giving you, it contains a lot of sugar, which is why in a lot of countries they use beet sugar. So I'm just going to wash my hands again. Otherwise everything is going to be red. And so I'm just going to add some of these carrots. Spiral carrots, and you can spiral it all you want to and make it look really beautiful. It does look incredibly vibrant. Looks amazing on this plate. The colors are fabulous. And you do need to be kind of quick about this, but it's not cold, so it's, well, it is cold, but it's not bad outside, so it's nice and warm inside. So what I've got here is I've got some mozzarella. You don't need to eat mozzarella, so if you're dairy free or something, perhaps include some kind of sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, anything like that. But because this is, we also need a source of protein, I've chosen mozzarella. This is 55, this is the light version of mozzarella, and it's 55% less than the normal version. And the reason I'm using this is because you can do this. This is a meal that I'm using my hands for. And if you're using your hands, I always believe that if you spend time making the food, you're less likely to overeat in the first place. Okay, doesn't take long to do this at all. You can use a knife and just cut it into rounds if you don't like this kind of torn look, but it's absolutely fine. It's really, really nice. It's, you know, it's chunky. It's the kind of salad you can eat just with your hands. You don't actually need a fork. Fork for this kind of salad is probably more pretentious than anything else. But again, I've just taken 2 because there are more than, you know, 1 person in this house is going to be eating this. So if it's just for you, half a bowl, you know, that sort of thing would be fine. And I'm using this because this is a meal. This isn't a salad on its own. This isn't a starter. This is a main course. So just drape this across whichever way you want to. Play with it a little bit, you know, do what makes you happy. And so because I'm very fortunate to still, believe it or not, have basil, I'm just going to put some of the basil that's still growing in my kitchen onto this. Basil and mozzarella and obviously tomato. Oh, I love that smell. It's evocative of a Mediterranean, so it takes you on a little holiday. And I've had my little cocktail shaker, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take the lid off and I'm going to pour the dressing over the salad. You don't have to do it until, ideally don't dress a salad until you're serving it, or let people do it by taste. And it's as simple as that. So it's a little bit messy in the kitchen tonight. You just move these things out of the way a second and I will show you my beautiful, oh hang on 1 second, little clean. I will show you my beautiful, beautiful fresh liver loving salad. This is full of antioxidants, it's full of antibacterial properties, antifungal properties, full of vitamin A, E, D and K and all sorts of wonderful things. And just as a final flourish, because if you want your skin to look good, it's really important to try and have more of this little superfood called linseeds. Okay, linseeds is full of omega-3s and it's really, really, really good for your hair and your nails and your skin. But you don't need to go wild. I'm only putting a little bit onto this because remember, I've got protein in this already. But if you are doing veganuary, or you are a vegetarian and you don't like to eat this kind of cheese or anything like this, try and use things like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and linseeds, a combination of things like that. And that is how you can get your protein and all the good fats that your body needs. So I'm going to tuck in with my family into this dish. Thank you for watching me in my kitchen tonight. I'm going to be enjoying the salad, and I will see you back in my kitchen next week. So any questions, drop me a line. Ask me what you would like to know, what you want to find out about. I'm happy to answer.